today we talked about pirouette technique. So we talked about practicing just for kind of the progression, going onto a flat foot and holding it, flat foot and holding it. Then we talked about going onto a slightly raised heel. So I'm on the ball of my foot, I'm not up in like a full ballet aerobic, just slightly off my heel, and just making sure that I can hold this nice and stable before I'm trying to add rotation onto it. Do it on both sides, same thing. And making sure that we're looking out, we're not looking down, so it's going to make us more wiggle. From there,
we also talk about the feet, using really your toes. Don't just bend your toes up, really use your toes for balance. That helps a lot with holding the balance.
yeah. So don't be a knee and suck your toes up when you're trying to balance, put them on the ground. So then from here we did the progressions of a 90-degree turns. So starting from kind of split weight and then closing and coming up, make sure that we can balance there. And I'm just bringing my hands, I don't have to do a lot of prep to be able to go 90 degrees. But once we start getting a little further, there is a little bit of counter rotation and coming up, counter rotation coming up. And ideally, once I'm doing 360s, I'm spotting. I want to make sure that every time we do any rotation, I'm nice and stable, and then I'm stepping down. I'm not doing because that's not a success. It's cool that you got around, but we really want to make sure that we have control. So work up with the small increments before we try to get to a full 360 and practice both sides.
And then the rotation is really coming from rotation. We should not be thinking about using this foot to push around. It's more really coming from this rotation. And just think of here doing just this exercise of coming up, and the rotation will carry you around in that. Okay.
We also today started tiptoeing into some head movement or chest movement and unlocking. So we talked about making sure that we want to elongate our spine when we're doing head movements. So we found our limits. So when we inhale and send our sternum up, remember our Care Bear heart is shooting forward into the sky. We want to make sure that we can still talk. If I go too far past here, then my voice gets strained and I'm collapsing down and I've gone too far. So we need to stay a little bit past that. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Like honestly, I can keep, this is kind of a nice distance too. But it's that my chest is moving up, it's not that I'm just looking up. Everything's a consequence of my chest. So I could do all these movements without my head, but if I'm unlocked, my head's gonna come with me. And unlocking just means that we've got a nice long spine and our upper body's free to kind of move around on our rib cage a little bit. So we talked about up, nice soft knees. We talked about unlocking and going down, making sure that our rib cage is not crunching downwards. It's that we're expanding our back. So remember, my beautiful wings are opening up and allowing me to come forward. To the sides as well. The same thing, up and over. I'm not going down, going up.
Thinking of opening the space really here, even in the rib cage on the side of you collapsing. You tilting towards, you still want that space in your rib cage.
Yeah. And we talked about going back and forth between these, so we can go up to unlocking, and go over to the side, come back to neutral, up, come back to neutral, go forward, back to neutral, and then we can kind of over time make those smoother, so we're not having to go pause and back. We talked about
So think of just having the frame exactly the same as if you have close hand-to-hand frame here. On the follows just the bottom of the scapulars. Right, so we got one hole here. Again, I want always, not even normal frame, we want to have the pressure here. I don't want to have like hands. I want to have pressure. I want to keep this pressure. And as I'm keeping the pressure, when I'm opening my chest, I should think about really rotating and opening my frame upwards too. It's not a huge frame when I'm just turning my palms to the sky, but I'm thinking of everything from my biceps here to my forearms really opening up with my chest, and then as I'm closing, I should think of really everything closing down.
And we do scapulation. So these are my scapulas.
So I'm opening up, which is sliding up, which is direction up, and down, which is direction up. I don't want to just do hands up and down, or just doing using my chest and not really doing anything to the frame. So it really has to go to the frame for it to be nice.
We also talked about leads are doing this movement with their chest, but they're not doing their own head movement when they're in partnership because it's fine when we go up, then if we come forward, we're going to hit our follow with the head.
The way I usually do it, I think of just using my chin to do it. I'm going to open up, give me more space here, and then when I go down, just go here. But I'm not going to allow my head to fall in the direction of closing.
We started kind of looking at the basics of Halu, which is elastical with head movement. We talked about that Halu is the noise that makes when somebody vomits, where it comes from. That's why it's becoming elastical with head movement. That's my guess. So
The version normally, like without, would be just side by side. So 2, shake, shake, 2, shake, shake. Just tap your knees and then 2, shake, shake.